Hi there, welcome to I Alone Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Pisces energy, and we're going to use this kind of a blend of a Kipper and Lenormand deck from Maruk X off their Etsy shop. And at the end of reading the story, we're going to get out some cards to find out what a possible outcome could be for people, depending on if they harness more high vibrational Pisces energy or a more worldly, shadowy Pisces energy. High vibe Pisces energy, just like all the other zodiac sign in high vibe energy, is about being more independent, loving yourself, freeing yourself from the past, your fears, your insecurities, your more immature, indulgent nature. And just like you might have done that in relationship to other people, you might feel they're kind of more immature or bossy or controlling or prideful or egotistical. They in turn might know people in their life that they feel are more immature, bossy, controlling, materialistic, whatever. We're all kind of looking for people who are kind of have learned some of the same life lessons that we've learned. And we can all not want to indulge people who we feel are kind of more immature in some way. And then we need to listen to our intuition about other people in our life and other people that we meet. Because we can have a tendency to repeat an old pattern over and over and over again until we see the truth of why we do that. And so we might view someone like, oh, you're impulsive, you're immature, you're bossy, you're controlling. But then we kind of get in a relationship with someone else who's like that, and we can hope that the outcome will be different because we don't want to see the truth. So shadowy Pisces is kind of like living an illusion. We can see the truth about some people, but we don't see the truth that other people are in that same energy. And quit trying to change people. When we see that people harness a more shadowy way of being, quit trying to think that we can change them, right? So let's go see what's going on in Pisces energy. We start out with the Snowflake card, which is Aquarius energy of having a dream. So Aquarius is represented by the Star card. I have a dream. But then we have this card not showing itself, and it's the gift of money, which I would interpret that kind of like the Ace of Pentacles. And the Ace of Pentacles, if we learn lessons in life, it can make us a more solid, stable person, and then we move forward in the world as a more solid, stable person, more self-aware, not as immature as we used to be, and we'll probably move forward in life. And money can represent feeling more abundant within ourselves. And when we grow up and mature ourselves, kind of get out of our more self-centered, egotistical nature and living an illusion, we'll probably make more money. But some people don't want to learn lessons in life, because the Ace of Pentacles in high vibe is about learning lessons in life. You've healed, you've grown, you've matured in some way, and some people are like, no, I have my idea of the dream life, how I want to live my life. It might be more that they're aligned with their more worldly nature, because the Pentacle talks about the 3D world in a way, in shadow, where we don't want to heal and grow and mature ourselves. We're kind of more caught up in ourselves, more caught up in the world, and we live in this illusion. So there's different types of people in the world. Some people are less about those things of the world. We all want stability and security in our life, but high vibe people know that it's about being balanced within yourself. High vibe Aquarius, you look at life from a higher perspective. You keep things in perspective. And some people aren't there yet. So they're kind of more about themselves or more about the world. Don't want to see the truth. Don't want to learn lessons in life. and kind of live in this illusion that they can keep doing things the way they've always done it and think that things are going to be okay, right? And the reason it came out is because of the Stork card, which talks about being fire sign energy, Aries energy. We all have a dream. We all have our idea of what the dream life would be. Some people are very immature, prideful, egotistical, bossy, controlling, petty, envious, jealous, egotistical, self-centered, and they wouldn't keep living their life like that if they didn't think kind of that was the idea of living the dream life. And that's what they're inspired by. Other people got out of their more shadowy way of being. They were inspired. Shadowy Aquarius can be that, people are full of themselves. And I don't have to grow up. I don't have to mature myself. Well, other people learn some lessons in life that, if I want to have people invest in me, I've got to quit being more egotistical and self-centered and kind of living in this illusion that it's more about me. And other people were inspired to grow and heal and mature themselves. And then we can go out in the world, and some people are more bossy, controlling, or immature, egotistical, or self-centered, manipulative. They think other people are living their life like that too. We can all want to give birth to something new. It's what the Stork talks about. And we can want to get in relationships with other people. Some of the more immature, egotistical, bossy, controlling people want to be in a relationship with someone who is more emotionally stable and grounded and loving and nurturing than they are. Isn't that like the dream life? The reason for this next group of cards coming out is because of the snake. If people are more self-indulgent, they're looking for someone who will kind of is loving and nurturing, but will indulge them in their poor behavior. And some high-vibe people who have freed themselves from their more shadowy nature of the snake, they are loving and nurturing and giving people with the caregiver card there. They want everybody to feel balanced within themselves. In the thoughts card, it kind of reminds me of King of Swords energy. They want other people to heal and grow and mature themselves. They don't like seeing other people sad. They want other people to move forward and believe in themselves and believe in their dreams. The Ship card references Aries energy, just like the Stork card. The whole thing is, sometimes we get in mismatched relationships. And some loving, caring, just, fair people who are inspired by their dreams and try to help other people who might feel in lack, or maybe people who don't love and believe in themselves. They offer those people love and encouragement. But truly authentic, loving people want the other people to love and believe in themselves. And we can kind of get in these mismatched relationships because some other people in the world, they like to view themselves as these just and fair and loving people who like to be in relationships with people. But their reason kind of for being in it is more of a self-interest. I like to view myself like this. I like to have people view me as a loving, nurturing person. I like to view myself as a loving, nurturing person. But the only thing is, I might want to get in relationships with people for them to heal and grow and mature themselves somewhat. But I never want them to be more inspired to live their life differently. To a certain degree, where you're more motivated and inspired to love and believe in yourself and believe in your dreams. I just want you to heal enough so that we can get along. because I don't plan to move forward any differently. Heal and grow your mature yourself enough so that we can get along. And then in shadowy snake energy, kind of like it looks like I'm this just and fair and loving person who might have helped you heal and grow and mature yourself somewhat. But if you ever become more inspired to free yourself in the snake card from things that manipulate you more than I have freed myself from things that manipulate me, well, then we're going to have a problem in the sad news card, because they have their own issues that manipulate them or people in their life, and they're not willing to become more independent of those things. It's kind of like, I want you to heal or grow and mature yourself to move forward with me in a relationship and be happy kind of just staying at that level. It's kind of like, I hope people can relate to it, but the way I kind of look at it is kind of like someone trying to teach someone math, right? As if someone was more like a 9th grader in math and someone else was more like an 11th grader in math. I'm going to work with you to try to help you learn 11th grade math. But I, in turn, don't ever plan to take what I have learned to move forward in life anymore. I'm happy being like an 11th grader, knowing what I know. I'm okay. In the thoughts card being a male figure kind of reminds me of the King of Swords energy, which can be male or female. I am living my life in a certain way of living life that I think is just and fair. I want to keep moving forward just like this. But some of the people I've met were inspired to live their life differently. High vibe, low vibe, whatever, right? So I'm kind of we're all looking for someone. It's kind of like, what's that fairy tale of, like the 3 little pigs, is that it? And the 3 bears that go into the house, or Goldilocks and the 3 bears. Well, this porridge is too hot. This porridge is too cold. This bed is too soft. This bed is too hard. We're looking for what's just right, for what's on the same page as us. And everybody, in a way, is where they're at. In our own King of Swords energy, which is Libra energy, of how we view life and what we think is just and fair, what makes us feel stable and grounded within ourselves, what our truth is, that's kind of how we want to move forward until we're kind of ready to, in the Tower card, free ourselves from that way of viewing life. Let's see, the 12th house is Aquarius energy. Back here at the beginning. So we all view life a certain way. When we were 15 years old, we viewed life a certain way. We wanted to be a 15-year-old. We went to go find other people who were kind of on the same page as us. And when we were 15, and when we were 18, and when we were 21, 25, 35, 45, 55, 65, there were all these other people in the world. But, we were kind of looking for the people like, well, what do you like to go do? How do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? What do you think is just and fair? What do I think? And we were looking to find people who were kind of on the same page as us, right? Well, I kind of like to do this, and I kind of view life this way, and, oh, you want to go do that? Yeah, and, oh, you're that kind of person? Yeah, I don't view life that way, And so we're just trying to find people who we think are more on the same page as us. But as, life is about, the Tower is about seeing the truth of people's foundations and seeing the truth of our own foundation. What drives and motivates us? The Tower can be that we were more prideful or egotistical or materialistic, kind of let our more loving nature tip us out of balance, where we were indulging ourselves in poor behavior or indulging other people in poor behavior, and we go live our life a certain way. And, you know, it's all about trying to get us to see the truth that in high vibe Aquarius and high vibe Aries energy, we have a dream. And hopefully, it's kind of like the seed was planted within us to want to grow and heal and mature ourselves. I want to free myself from things that manipulate me. I don't want my more worldly nature of the wealthy man, which is King of Pentacles energy, where we're more motivated maybe by ourselves and the world, or these things of the world that we look to, thinking that's the answer to us being happy. And we go indulge in those things, and we're sure those things will make us happy, or, oh my gosh, I need to be in a relationship, or I need to make this much money, or I need to dress this way, or look this way, or be in a relationship, or blah, blah, blah. I need to love other people. I'm a loving, nurturing person. I really want to be in a relationship. That's when I feel like I'm shining my light and I'm in my true purpose. But love is supposed to be just and fair. And that's what Libra energy talks about. Some people in their Libra energy of self, they don't want to see the truth. They don't want to do love. They don't want to treat people in a just and fair way. In our Libra energy of how our idea of the dream life, you know, and in our Pisces energy of what we think would be emotionally fulfilling, and again, Pisces can be about our dreams and what we find emotionally fulfilling. My dream life is not to deal with my past pain and heartbreak and the sadness, to deal with my own lack mentality or not feeling good enough. And I'm not inspired by the truth. I don't think that's the answer, which would be love and growing and healing and maturing myself. Because over here at the end, we have the ring card, which is Taurus energy. And high vibe Taurus energy is about learning these lessons in life, incorporating the lessons that we've learned in life, where we needed to grow and heal and mature ourselves, where other people needed to grow and heal and mature themselves. And high vibe energy is being illuminated to the truth that some people are more unstable in the Tower card. They have things that manipulate them. Their own fear, their own insecurity, the world, lust, greed, pride, ego, past pain and heartbreak, self-limiting beliefs. And as long as those things keep manipulating them, they will be, because the truth sets us free to go to like the next stage of life to learn more lessons of things that manipulate us. And we'll all keep repeating an old pattern until living our life that way, we kind of realize that in the sadness and the poverty card that either this isn't moving forward the way I thought it was going to move forward. It's not as fun as I used to think it was. I kind of feel maybe like people are emotionally manipulating me or using the love that I have for them to manipulate me, or they just don't really work together with me cooperatively in love. And we start to listen, you know, our high vibe nature and our high vibe fire sign energy and our high vibe emotional nature is to listen to our intuition about when it's time to detach from an old way of living life and listen to our intuition and believe in ourselves and believe in our dreams. Because if we don't, then we're not investing in those things, and those things will not be, Taurus is their sign energy, about what we're putting work effort into and investing our time, energy, and effort into, and our thoughts and our emotions. that all those things that we dreamed of require work and effort. And in order to see the truth, that kind of refers to Virgo energy, which all of us can tap into our Virgo nature, which helps us detach. We see the truth. How have I healed and grown and matured myself? I'm kind of seeing the truth that how I was living my life, viewing my life, treating myself, because the King of Swords can be our own harsh, critical inner voice. You have to stay here. If you were to go do that, you could get hurt. You can't believe in your dreams, or you're not good enough, or whatever. And then we can have other people in our life who kind of play that role in our life. And they don't want us to move forward loving and believing in ourselves either. And we can stay in certain jobs, friendships, or relationships we could want. Fire energy can be uninspired. I want something. But if there's people I'm in workplaces, friendships, and relationships with, and those people aren't invested in that same dream, and they're not motivated and inspired in high vibe King of Pentacles to get out of their more egoic nature, defensive nature, worldly nature, to love themselves, to be more balanced within themselves, to be more just and fair with me, my dream can only come into reality. High vibe Taurus, that anyone can harness, is that you really walk the talk. The kings in tarot can represent how people are presenting themselves in the world. There's men and women in the world who are presenting themselves as these just and fair and emotionally stable and grounded, nurturing, loving people that people should want to move forward with in life. Your dreams can come into reality with me. You should invest in me. You should date me. You should marry me. But the truth is, some of those people, it's not love that drives and motivates them. In order to do love, they would have to work through their past pain and heartbreak, their fears, their insecurities. But they want to look like they have what other people have in the world. I want to look like I've moved on. I want to look like I have what other people have. I want to look like a shining star. I want a certain status and image. I want justice. But if you're not operating from truth and love, you're kind of deceiving yourself, where you could use your looks, your charm, your sexuality, your money, your status, your social clout, your words, whatever you got. You could try to use all those things to try to manipulate people to get in a relationship with you. More because I want to be in a relationship. Otherwise, I will feel left out in the cold. And if I'm not in a relationship, either I'm really going to maybe get caught up in my head and my fear or my lust or my greed or coping mechanisms, because I'm not inspired to love myself and give myself the things that I wish other people would give me. And then, you'd have to harness high vibe Taurus energy, which is being very stable and grounded and abundant within yourself, because you have learned to love and believe in yourself, and you have learned to be like a good mother, father, coach voice to yourself, to treat yourself in a just and fair and loving way, with love and compassion and forgiveness, that I was kind of more inspired by myself and these things of the world, and I had a lot of lessons learned, and I didn't even know it. And I kind of went on these journeys in life thinking this was going to make me happy, and it didn't work out the way I thought. And it was kind of really disillusioning with the tower because of the cross, because Taurus energy talks about our philosophy of life, and we get kind of indoctrinated into the world, and we live in the world. And people in our friend group, people in our immediate family, people in our community, our state, our country, tell us we should live our life like this. That's more, the worldly Taurus view of life. You should act like this. You should talk like this. You should dress like this. You should hang out with these people, not those people. You should do this, not that. And it's all these invisible rules and regulations in our head. This is right. This is wrong. I think in high vibe Libra energy, there's a higher truth and justice to aspire to. High vibe Aquarius, looking at life from a higher perspective. I think that there's more to this world than just what the world tries to tell me is important and that makes me valuable and worthy. There's more to me than what I look like, what I wear, how much money I have. What makes me an abundant person is that I have learned to love myself, and I view the King of Pentacles as Capricorn energy. Shadowy Capricorn energy is represented by the devil. We all have to learn to free ourselves from our own shadow nature and our more immature, indulgent, bossy, controlling, egotistical, self-centered ways of being, and see the truth about other people in our life who want us to some degree, even if it's just codependency, to be in relationships with them in our more worldly viewpoint of life, because they're more motivated and inspired to align with their more worldly view of life. We should stay in a relationship. You should stay here. You should work here. You should be my friend. I think this is just and fair. But it's kind of like where everybody isn't being inspired to really walk the talk. Well, it's more about the status and the ego or the image, or to be in a relationship out of our fear or insecurity. And it's like, how about I don't want to be in a relationship out of fear and insecurity? How about I don't want to be in a relationship because of money and status and ego and image? How about I don't want to be in relationships with people who aren't inspired to free themselves from that old philosophy of life, to really where you're inspired to detach, is what the Tower card talks about, to detach from that old way of living life, where we go live our authentic life. High vibe energy is about being independent. Listening to love and intuition to guide you in your life and in your relationships. Having hope and faith and belief in your dreams. Being inspired that you can overcome your own shadowy nature. Offering love and encouragement to other people to overcome theirs. And if those people work together with you in truth and love and justice and fairness, then together you can work through regrets of the past, to detach in the past, no longer let that, it's kind of making me think of that Bible verse. Don't conform your life to this world, but be transformed. The King of Pentacles, holding one pentacle in high vibe, is about seeing the truth, seeing through the illusion of all these things that we make our life about, and seeing the truth. Getting more balance within ourselves. We do live in the world. We do want stability and security, and, it's about balance. But am I willing to give up truth and love just to have those things in the world? Some people are. Some people are telling, basically, by the actions that they take in their life, if you want to move forward more inspired by truth and love and walking the talk, and you want me to do that, you go. I'll go find someone else to get in a relationship with. I'm not doing that. Some people like to view themselves as these very stable, grounded, loving, emotionally balanced, just and fair people. And in a lot of ways, they can be. But love and Taurus energy represents all these institutions of the world, like workplaces and organizations and social groups and relationships and marriages. Love is supposed to be just and fair. You are supposed to treat other people the way you like to be treated. Some people have a problem with that. And their truth is, their philosophy of life is more about maybe ego or image or status or money or who has more. That's a shadowy Taurus energy. Whoever has more of what someone values, well then that person is kind of the boss, whether they're male or female. They get to operate a little bit more from their ego. And the other people who emotionally might feel in lack, and here we have a female and a male figure, maybe who emotionally haven't learned to love themselves, believe in themselves, believe in their dreams, might be more in tune emotionally than, and have put in more work and effort to be more inspired or creative and loving than they have in kind of feeling maybe stable and secure within themselves or investing more in their own stability and security in the world, or they just have a lack mentality. Well, those people basically are supposed to give up their dreams. Let that go. Give up your dreams of thinking that you'll be in a more high vibe, inspired by truth and love relationship. If you want what I have, and if I look like I'm a shining star, victorious or successful or charming or good looking or whatever they got going, and I look like I have quote unquote justice in the world, that people would look at me as either someone they would want to date or get in a relationship with or hire for a job, because people could have, their talent, skills, and whatever, and that they look like they have justice in the world. Well, some people, because they have those things, think other people should give up their dreams and kind of defer to them. A shadowy Taurus relationship is a more transactional relationship, but it's not equal give and take, where I respect what you bring to the table because they do value more what they bring to the table. That doesn't quite sound very loving, does it? And they could be people who think they would be willing to indulge people if they had those things of the world that they valued, because that is their philosophy of life. You should defer to people who have those things more that you value. And they could kind of think they would be willing to do that. They maybe haven't been challenged to do that, but it basically is the underlying premise in their life, or they wouldn't try to think it's just and fair to get other people to do that for them. Well, some high vibe people do look at life from a higher perspective. They have learned these lessons in life. They have healed and grown and matured themselves to be more just and fair in a relationship. In their own way, they are someone that people also view as someone that they would like to be friends with, be in relationships with, hire for jobs, and marry. It's just that those people aren't aligned with their more shadowy energy because of these lessons that they've learned in life. I don't want high vibe energy, again, being independent, but being authentic and loving, feeling proud of yourself because you do act with character and integrity. And some people like to be viewed as someone who acts with character and integrity, but in shadowy energy, it's more like it's more about them, And then thinking it's kind of just and fair to be more about themselves and to manipulate people to get them to do what they want. And some people have already been in relationships with people who are like that, and it made them sad, made them feel left out in the cold. You know, kind of the snake card, which Aquarius energy is represented. Oops, got an alarm on my phone. By the 6 and the 7, or the 5, the 6, and the 7 of Swords, where it's like, you know, I had a dream. There's people in my life that I love, that I could have looked up to, that I was dating, that I was married to, that I wanted to date, that I wanted to marry, or that they were just in my life. And I don't understand why they're not more inspired by love. And then as time goes by and we learn these lessons in life and we go through our own life experiences, we can kind of put things in perspective because, you know, the more you live life, adulting isn't easy. And you kind of see how people get all caught up in the world and make their life so much more about that, and they're in their codependent energy and they have their own pain and heartbreak that they maybe haven't dealt with. And that makes them be the type of person they are in the world. And some people are like, you know, I understand that they dealt with people who are like that in their life and they've got their own fears and insecurities. I have my own fears and insecurities and my more immature nature, and I've dealt with people who are kind of shadowy. And we're sad that some people in our life didn't do that work within themselves to free themselves from things that manipulated them. But we were inspired to do the work to free ourselves, so we're not another person repeating that pattern with the people in our life. And though we're sad, I wish other people in my life were more just and fair or authentic or loving or whatever. But I can't change them. And the sad news card is kind of like the 5 of Cups, and the poverty card is like the 5 of Pentacles. And the whole thing is, the 5s talk about change. I can't change other people. All I can do is offer people truth and love. I would like to work together with you and move forward with you. But it has to be just and fair. And some other people are like, nope, not willing to do that. It's like, then I see the truth of it. I wish you peace. And I'm going to move on. I'm going to detach from this foundation because our philosophy of life is different. What drives and motivates us is different. What we think is just and fair is different. And I'm going to move forward with people in the world who I do think are on the same page as me, have learned some of the same lessons that I've learned, that what we think is just and fair in a relationship and what drives and motivates us. It isn't just more about me or ego or image. It's about being with people who are loving and encouraging and authentic and supportive, independent of their more immature, shadowy energy to the same degree I am. Doesn't mean you're completely free of it. We can't get rid of our shadow nature. More things just pop up for us to learn about, right? and we move forward and have these new beginnings with people that are more on the same page as us. So I would say high vibe Pisces energy wants us to be inspired to believe in our dreams, quit investing in people in our life who've already shown us they harness this energy in a more shadowy way. We harness our Aquarius and Aries energy differently. Some people haven't healed from what's manipulated them, and you have done that work within yourself to heal from some of the things that manipulated you, but those things still manipulate them, and until they free themselves from it, your dream can't come into reality with them, because your dream can only come into reality with people who are have the same philosophy of life, and their truth is the same as your truth at any stage of life that you're at. And though we could be sad, we've all had to learn lessons the hard way, and some other people are going to have to learn some lessons the hard way. Again, we can try to inspire other people to love themselves, get more balance within themselves, work through kind of the snake. Kind of reminds me of Seven of Swords energy, Aquarius energy, that we have all this mental conflict about, am I bold and brave enough to step out of my comfort zone and detach from that old way of living life, to go face my fears, to believe I can in truth and love, and offering truth and love to the people in my life to move forward with me that way? And if they don't, am I willing to say, I wish you peace, but I'm moving on because your truth isn't my truth? And the whole thing is, everybody has free will to live their life the way they want it. Does it mean that, because some people's truth of just how they want to spend their time and energy, they're on their own life journey. You like to go do this, you like to go do that. I don't really care to go do that and do this. Different strokes for different folks. There's all sorts of people in the world. But everyone should live their authentic life of what drives and motivates them. They will just face the consequences. We're all here to learn lessons, and they're going to find out if theirs gets them the justice they want, or if there was some truth they weren't seeing. And life's all about learning these lessons. Some people are very prideful and egotistical. Some people think, again, that people should view them a certain way and people should want to be in a relationship with them. They don't have to heal or grow or mature themselves. Only other people have to. And other people get in a relationship with them. Is like, you might not see what manipulates you in your pride or your ego or your immature or your self-indulgent or narcissistic ways of being, but I do see the truth. Or you might have friends or family members in your life, or the world at large, that kind of manipulates you and make your life more about these things of the world than truth and love. Yeah, I think you got some hard lessons to learn. I think when we plant bad seeds, by worldly standards, it could look good. I mean, basically shadow energy is represented by the devil. Make your life about these things, indulge in these things. And people put a lot of work and effort and they can be very victorious and very successful. It's just not really based on truth and love. It's more about the ego and the image. Can they look like very victorious, successful people in the world? Yeah. But they know if they're not really in relationships for love. Other people in their life could want to not be in a relationship with them anymore. Some of them will get out of it. Some of them will stay in it. But if you want to build a solid foundation, you have to build it on truth and love. Otherwise, why are people in it? Well, I'm in it because I'm sad or I feel left out in the cold. Let's get in a relationship. Well, if over time those people do learn to love and believe in themselves, I think they would offer that to the people they're in their life to move forward with them in that way. And some people are like, well, no, I only wanted to stay in a relationship with you if you were more sad and heartbroken. Because then you're more codependent or fearful. Is that something to be proud of? I have people staying in a relationship with me because they're more codependent and fearful. What's coming up for some people who harness some high vibe Pisces energy that they might not see coming? They're going to move forward. Why? Because of the Six of Pentacles, which is Taurus energy. They did this work to be inspired to think about what their dreams were. And instead of investing and living more from their mind and their worldly nature, and continuing to invest in workplaces, friendships, and relationships with people who wanted them to keep moving forward with them, but it wasn't based on truth and love, those people are like, nope, I'm not going to keep investing in you. The people in my life who I think aren't more about ego and image and being in a relationship with me for those reasons, who I think are more truthful, honest, just, fair, authentic, those are the people I want to invest my time, energy, and effort in, and that I'm going to communicate with. And if some of those people I communicate with, if those people don't really seem to be on the same page as me, then I'm going to wish them peace and I'm going to keep moving on. And I'm going to move forward with the people in my life who are more just and fair and balanced in a relationship, who want to do equal give and take, who act with character and integrity and love. Just because I can be a loving person in the world, love is to be just and fair. I speak my truth in love. I offer people love and encouragement to work through with me, to work through past pain and heartbreak, fears and insecurities, to work through the mental conflict of it, to see the truth that there is love there. But I can't make other people do that. And if they're not doing that, I see the truth of it. And we're just not on the same page at the same time. And I believe that the divine has a plan for my life. And it's not to stay in a mismatched, unstable foundation. I adhere to a higher truth and justice. And I'm not going to let my more worldly nature, my more egoic nature, well, this seems just and fair, but I wanted this, or this seems logical and practical. It's like, is it based on truth and love and character and integrity? If not, then I need to let it go. And if there's people in my life who I wish would move forward with me in this way, but they are not taking action towards me in that way, then I have to see the truth that that's not their truth. And I don't stay in illusion, because then whatever it is that keeps them stuck, it's kind of like shadowy energy represented by the devil, doesn't want to give birth to anything new. High vibe energy represented by God, doesn't want to give birth to something new. If there's people in the world and shadowy energy within, there's shadowy energy within all of us, that is manipulating one person, if because of our love for them and the dream we wanted to bring into reality with those people, if shadowy people or the devil can lock those people up and kind of imprison them, it's using the love that we have for those people to imprison us too. Getting two birds with one stone. And God says that's an injustice. Do not allow that to happen. You keep moving forward, walking the talk. You keep acting with character and integrity. High vibe energy is about being a leader in the world, shining your light, not hiding your truth or your loving nature underneath a bushel basket, right? And as you keep moving forward in that energy, it kind of illuminates the truth of who you are, and it kind of might start to make those other people wonder, why do I invest in what I invest in? I could have moved forward with those people, and it kind of has the opportunity to make them start to do this work within themselves. If we keep indulging people in poor behavior, there is no incentive to change, because you're indulging them in their poor behavior. When you move on, well, then they might start to realize, like, gee, I didn't really value them. I thought I'll just go get in a relationship with someone else. Shadowy fire sign energy that people can harness. I don't really believe in love. I have sex with people. I'll just go get in a relationship with someone else. Sex is sex. And then they get in relationships with people and they kind of realize, oh, wow, it was different when I was in a relationship with someone who loved me. And it was also different when I was in a relationship with someone who was more emotionally balanced and emotionally mature and loving and encouraging than to kind of be in a relationship with someone who's not. And the whole thing is, if when you were in the relationship offering truth and love, if that wasn't enough to make them see the truth, they're probably going to have to go learn some life lessons. And then sometimes, even by the time, we learn those lessons in life, and there's some people in our life we could wow, I don't know, I kind of rejected being your friend or getting in a more involved relationship with you, or I got out of being your friend or being in a more involved relationship with you because I had these lessons learned. I think high vibe people aren't operating from their pride and ego. They offer the people truth and love. And because some of the people in their life viewed these people, we can be in relationships with people and we view them as that we have love for them, but they were tangled up in what they were tangled up with. The whole thing is, if at some future date people learn these lessons in life, if it works out that we haven't moved on, or we're willing to take people back in our life, and there's some people in our life that if they get more balanced and heal and grow and mature themselves, we would be willing to kind of do equal give and take with them, because we want more healed, balanced people in the world, and we're happy if people heal and grow and mature themselves. Does that mean we have to get in a more involved relationship with them? No, it might be I'm still moving on, but I'm glad now that we're more at a place of peace and balance. And I'm glad you freed yourself, but I might have moved on with other people, or I still think my philosophy of life and where we're at, we're kind of still on different pages. But people can get to a place where they wish each other peace and socialize here and there with each other. And then there's some people that as we move forward, we're going to meet other people that are on the same page, because, it's kind of like God has forever to work with people. We kind of have a finite amount of time, which doesn't mean that we're impatient or anything like that. We walk the talk. We are just and fair. We invest in people. We do truth and love. We try to keep things in perspective. But there comes a point in time, if the people in our life keep turning their back to us and not working with us cooperatively, not investing in us, we kind of got to see the truth that we're not on the same page. And if we're willing to listen to our intuition, they could have been people who came in our life to serve the purpose of getting us to do this work within ourselves, to love and believe in ourselves and stand up for ourselves. And then the purpose that they served in our life, if at some future date we're able to be more socially agreeable with each other, wonderful. But it was all about trying to help each of us see what our truth was and what our truth wasn't, and changing someone's philosophy of life, of how they view themselves, how they view the world, how they view others, how they view relationships. That is very hard to change. I mean, it is like trying to change somebody's religious belief systems, right? And those things are very ingrained in us from the time we're very young, from the people that we grew up with and people in our community and philosophy of life, right? So, but high vibe people, because they offer love to the situation, it helps them kind of pick up their investment from a place of being at peace and balance within themselves, and they take the lesson that they learned, seeing they can't have a new beginning with certain people because there's still these things that manipulate them, and they're willing to detach from those people. And the other people have things that they would maybe benefit from detaching from, if that's their ego or their fear or their self-centeredness or their philosophy of life, that they should be more indulged in a relationship or more caught up in ego and image, or people in their life who manipulate them. Until they do that work within themselves, your dream can't come into reality with them anyway. So you see the truth, and it's like, I'm going to go put in work and effort, invest my time and energy in people who do seem to work together with me cooperatively in the world, in my job, in my career, and friends and family, and maybe getting in new relationships, friendships, and marriages with people who are more on the same page as you. Again, we come into contact with all these different people to help us get clear about what our truth is and our truth isn't. And if we listen to our intuition that is trying to get us to see the truth, that there are some people in our life who are not aligned with truth and love, and we wish them peace and we move on, because that's how we can get in our divine inheritance. But we have to get out of thinking we're the boss and it should be my way and this is what I want. God, make them change. And God's like, they got free will. And they have the free will to live their life any way they want. The only person you can change is you. Get out of your ego and see the truth. Your dream cannot come into reality with them. So get out of your ego and be inspired to go with the flow and find out what God really had meant for your life. What's coming up for people who harness a more worldly, shadowy Pisces energy that they might not see coming? We have the Death card and the Devil. Why? Because of the Ten of Pentacles. So some people, shadowy Scorpio, shadowy Capricorn, shadowy Virgo, some people are more emotionally shallow and superficial, and they really, Scorpio can talk about our deep emotional nature, which we're emotionally complex human beings, and it can be really confusing. And so some people are like, yeah, that's really confusing. I don't want to deal with it. I'm going to put my more emotionally creative, inspired, intuitive nature. And Pisces, also represented by the Moon card, can be like, I'm going to bury those things kind of underneath the surface of my emotional nature. I don't really like to deal with them. They confuse me. And instead, I'm going to move forward in my more emotionally shallow, superficial nature, using my emotions to the degree that I have to. But I'm really more motivated and inspired by the world. The Devil can represent the world. Shadowy Ten of Pentacles and Virgo energy can be more, I'm more about the world and me and these things of the world that I want to indulge in. I'm sure that'll make me happy. I don't have to do love. And while they're in that kind of energy, they always can have some high vibe people in their life who wish they would put an end, the Death card, that wish they would put an end to these kind of more shadowy ways of being. They're trying to get them to move forward, inspired by truth and love. And eventually, some of the high vibe people in their life see the truth. And they're going to be done moving forward with people that seem to be blocked about maybe walking the talk and acting with character and integrity, who might want to stay in the relationship. It's good for their ego and their image, and they have someone to indulge in a relationship, or it makes them feel powerful because they're being bossy or controlling or manipulative or something. And eventually the high vibe people in their life see the truth of it, and they don't want to be in a relationship with people who are acting, could just be codependent, don't love and believe in themselves. They're unstable, but they don't do the work within themselves to work through those issues. And then it can be, I just want to be in a relationship with you because you're more balanced or loving and nurturing. That's the answer. It's like, no, because you still have those issues within you. And I would like to move forward, and you can't move forward until you work through those issues within yourself. But you don't want to work through those issues, and you want me to stay here where it's like, well, it looks great. We just won't ever give birth to anything new. And the relationship won't grow and mature over time because I refuse to grow and mature over time. And so the Death card and the Devil can be like stagnant energy. The Ten of Pentacles can be like stagnant energy. You know, we all live our life at a certain phase of life. Like I have lived age 15 to 17. I have learned all of the lessons I need to learn. It is time for me to believe in myself, face my fears, and quit investing in being like a 15 to 17-year-old, for example, to grow up and become and believe I can be more like an 18 to 20-year-old. And we all probably know some people who never really grew themselves up, never took on more responsibility. And there's other people in life like, well, I did all those things when I was 18 to 21 to 25, but then I thought when I got to this certain stage of life, I didn't think I was going to have to do that anymore. And I don't want to deal with these issues that manipulate me, and I don't want to. It takes work and effort, and they don't want to. I do not want to put in the work and effort to free myself from what manipulates me. Or I don't want to see I'm bossy or controlling or codependent or insecure. And it might destabilize a lot of the relationships I get into, but I am unwilling to see the truth. I just think I need to go find someone else to get in a relationship with. You know, and what some kind of more shadowy people can do, they are more in codependent energy. They haven't realized they need to do this work within themselves. No, that's not the answer. No, I just have to find the right person, and then that will be the answer to my prayers. Like as if getting in a relationship that with someone who's more stable or, you know, is it nice to be in a relationship with someone who's more stable or grounded or balanced than other people you were in a relationship with, or more loving or nurturing? Yes. And that is an opportunity for people to do this work within themselves. But some people are like, well, no, I don't have to do that work. I look to you to be the answer. But the problem is they still have their issues. And their issues come bubbling back up. And then they think, well, you must not be the right person. It's like looking to someone to get in a relationship like, you're beer, you're drugs, and I'm going to indulge in you to make me feel better. I'm sure you're the answer to all my problems. And their problems are still there. So then they think, you're not the right beer. You're not the right drug. And then they think someone else must be the answer to their problems. Or if they had more status or more image or more money or more attention or more indulged, that would be the answer. Then they'd feel better. And none of those things are the truth. And they're going to go on this journey in life, pursuing all these things, whatever it is they make their life about, or indulge in, to be the answer. They're not the truth. And it's not going to turn out the way they think. Right now, they're moving forward with the Devil, thinking they're going to have a long-term, emotionally stable, looking like a pillar of society. And it's not going to work out that way. Because again, some people try to create an illusion, and some people have put a lot of work and effort into creating an illusion. And they might have a lot of stability, security. They might have a lot of status or image. But then it's kind of like, because I have this certain status and image or power, it's kind of like all the people we've read about in the newspaper who had a lot of status and image and power. Well, now I'm kind of full of myself, and I don't have to act with character and integrity. And I kind of am full of myself, and I think I can go indulge in these things of the world, but because people view me this certain way, or because I have this certain status or image, I think I can get away with it. And eventually, death comes for the devil. Things do not work out the way they think it is going to work out. And that is a tower moment for them, because it was kind of like thinking, you either believe that there's a higher truth and power and rules to this game of life, or I guess in your more worldly egoic nature, you think you're God. There are no rules to this game of life except what man says, mankind. And if you have a certain status or image in the world, then I guess you can get away with a lot of shit. Because you can use your resources and your power to get people to indulge you in your poor behavior because they're afraid of being more independent of you. And they kind of maybe want those things. I just don't think it's going to turn out the way they want. And I think the people who did act with character and integrity and did walk the talk, I think it's going to be illuminated who acted with character and integrity and does act with character and integrity. And other people who harness this energy in a more high vibrational way are going to want to invest in those people because they see through the illusion of people who aren't who they said they were. So, there you go, Pisces. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.